Welcome to Paper Craft Possibilities. I am Susan. Today we're going to do something that I know happens in everyone's lives, and sometimes it's hard to document. This one will be a very hard one for me, but it's also a way for me to pay tribute to these two beautiful people who we lost this last September. These are my in-laws. I'm not sure of the exact verbiage, but the programs that were at their funeral. And I mean, look at this precious picture. That was when they were just newly married, and they were in the service and just having the times of their lives. They were married for 71 years. Just very, very, very special people to me. So I'm going to go ahead and record their day of remembrance. And I'm going to go ahead and use some green colors because there's quite a few cards here that were very special to us, my husband and I want to include them on the page. Now, I know there's a lot here. There's some thickness, but it's important to me, and it's okay if this is the only page in my scrapbook because it just means that much to me. But the common denominator in all these cards, these right here, are green. So what I've decided to do is use this paper collection, which is ultimately from Christmas, but there are so many here, and I always sample my papers on that outside of my sheet here. Anyways, here are the samples of the paper in that group. And then this is a newer one, and I haven't gotten around to documenting all the papers in this one. But there's just a few in here I'm going to use. Obviously, you can tell I've been cutting into this already. These papers are so cheerful, and I cannot wait to use them. I mean, look at that. So cute. These are going to make some great cards, too, and I will use these in an upcoming video on a card. But I mean, look at these, just so happy. And then we have some vellum that you could get additionally that goes with them. I love this. I think this would be really cute with a little boy's page. And there you go, some more vellum. So I'm going to use those two, I believe. So we'll have to see where those come in at. And so for right now, let's run the intro and I'll get us going. I've gone ahead and brought in some of the papers I think I want to use. So this was from the Christmas collection, which is titled Graceful Greenery. And I believe, I was in the back of my desk looking at the package of paper. I believe this is still available. If it is, I will link it down below. And this just, I've always liked plaids, checks, ginghams. So I think this just, it makes it a little bit happier, if you will, and brings joy, as these two special people did to my life. And then I think I want to bring in some white just to kind of make it pop. And I think what I want to do is border it up here. And the reason why I'm using the greens too is, like I think I mentioned before, is there's quite a few green items in the cards that we've received. So I want to include that green, and I think it's, you know, it's not the traditional black. It's in between the really happy stuff and the black for when people pass. So this will bring me joy when I turn my page, and these two always bring me joy. So let me do some cutting and bring that in. I've cut these pieces up, so let me see what they look like here. And I believe these are 3 by 12 inch cuts. So I like that, but I think it just needs a little bit of a divider, and that's where the white will come in at. Move this down to make a match up. Will be something like that. And then the next thing I kind of want to conquer are the cards and the programs. So I am going to make a special envelope for these, and I'm either going to put it over in this corner or over in this corner. And I'm going to use some more paper from this set. Again, I will get this. It is Graceful Greenery. And I think I'm going to use that to make an envelope. And I think I'm going to have to make an accordion type of envelope so it expands and moves with the envelopes just a little, because these are going to be fairly thick. And then I've got the eulogy in here that's, you know, been typed out by their very special friend, and just some other personal notes. So this is going to be a thick little pocket. So let me see what I can come up with. Here is the cut that I came up with. And what I did is I took everything I want to put in this pocket. Here's everything. And I have measured how wide it is, and I've added a 1/2 inch on each side. Hopefully that'll be enough. And I've gone ahead and scored it there, and then I've added on an extra inch on each side. And within that inch, I've scored it at 1/2 inch increments. So what will happen is this will go down here to the page, as will this side, and then this side. And that should give me enough room. Let's hope so. Let's see. I think we'll be good. But what I am concerned with is this being a thinner paper here. It's not really thin, but if we're taking things in and out of it, which I don't think will happen that often, but I want to put some reinforcements here. So I thought about using, let me grab my dies. These are quite a few I've pulled out here. I thought about using this die, and it's from, I could put on my glasses and see, from the Everyday Details dies. And you can kind of see the die, what it does here. I've previously cut this out. And, whoops, it wants to scoot out of the envelope there. Twice. Hold on. I like to have these extra cuts in here, just kind of shows me what the dies do when they're cut. So here is that die, and I thought about making something that goes across here, and I think it'll be the right width, and I can put a banding underneath it. So let me jump over to my die cutting machine and grab those cuts. Here are the die cuts done, and I decided to line the back of it in white. And I think that'll work. So I've gone the width of my custom envelope here, and I've added on a 1/2 inch on the sides. This one ran a little bit short, but I think it'll be okay. So I'm gonna take some tear and tape. Actually, I could probably just use tape on this one. So let's get that taped up. I think that does it. Now with this, I think I want to bring it down just a hair to have an extra border of that paper up there. And I am definitely going to use tear and tape here so it's a little bit stronger. Let me pull off some pieces here. Just so they're ready to go. While I was off camera, I went ahead and taped down these pieces so I could work easier. And this is all down, which I really like. Let's see how that kind of turned out. Actually, our margins are a little off here, but I can still move this. It wasn't quite centered. Let's see what I can do here. There we go. Now I think I'm gonna use some glue over here, because it seems to want to wiggle around. So let's see what we can do here. Move this to where I want it so it's a little bit more centered with even margins on the top and bottom. So let me just hold that for a minute. So what I'm going to do with you here on camera is I'm going to come in and put the tear and tape on there and pray that everything fits in there. If not, you know, I always say it's just paper, right? All right, so what I'm gonna do is put my tear and tape here, here, and here. So let me zoom you in a little. I just have to remember to zoom back out when I'm done being close in, because that's a habit I have of not zooming back out. Okay, let's see what we've got here. I can always trim it off if it's too long, but I can't really be short. So let me show you what I'll do in that instance. So I'll put that there. I find it useful to use my pointy tool here. So let me put the tear and tape down on the other side, just in case things want to stick to each other. Be a little bit more careful here. Let me make sure, yeah, I do have some length here. I just really burnish that down so we get a really good stick on that. And then this side will also need it, but I'm gonna do this on the outside of that one. So let's go ahead and get this done. So I'm using my pointy tool there. I love that thing. So if you have too much, just pull it back like that and tape it on top of, you know, itself. Okay, so I've got that down. And the same thing with here. You can see I have a little bit too much tape. So better more tape on this than less. So I'm gonna put that back in there. And we'll use the good old pointy tool here. Pull off this release tape. Okay, I burnished this one good. There we go. So again, we have extra tape. I'm gonna put it back on itself. And there we go there. And we'll stick this bottom piece to the top. So we have a true box. And this side will go there. And now I'm gonna put some tear and tape over here. Now when I put this down, I know I'm gonna have to be super careful because once it's down, it's down. Good thing I didn't press that down yet. All right, again, I'm gonna really rub that on there and pull off the release tape here. The satisfying sound, have that little zip there. Okay, I know I've kind of messed around with what I want to include on this page, so I do want to have this over in here. And what's really nice is I have the lines from this gingham plaid paper to go off of. I've gone ahead with the programs from the funeral, and I've put some of the plaid paper on that is, I believe it's from the Floral set. That's the new one, the yellow one that's out. I've used that here on the back of the program. And what I want to do is I think I want to put that here, and then pull my little tray of stuff over here. I want to use these. This was a picture of the front of the program, and this was the back of them being so cute when they were young. They were cute till the day they passed. They were married 71 years and so in love until the day they died. And they died 5 days apart, which is good because we are comforted with they're together. But that's hard on the people that love them here. But again, we're happy that they're together. Dad died 5 days before Mom. Okay, so And then my thought was, I've got this ribbon and I believe it's still available. I think it's on the discontinued list though, is I think I want to do something with that here. And I think I'm going to tie a knot. And I've gone ahead and purposely bowed this because I want it to look like a book. And I think it'll be able to hold its shape because of all this. So I am going to do it to make it stand up just a little, and you'll see how I do that in just a few minutes. And then I've gone and done a bunch of die cutting. And I'm going to try and play around with some of these here. This is from I have all my die cuts over here. Spotlight on Nature dies. That's what my round circles are from. And somehow I think what I want to do with this over here is put some information. And then, and where did this one come from? I pulled this off of the Iconic Imagery stamps, or dies. So that's where that one came from. So I was wanting to put this up here somewhere, so we'll have to see if that works. And I was thinking about putting one of them down here. We'll see how that all looks. And what I've done here is I've used the new butterfly set, of which I don't have out for whatever reason. Let me see if I have it over here. Yes, I do. I've used the Beautiful Butterflies, which is a brand new collection, and I just thought it was very appropriate for them passing and flying away and being together. I know that sounds really corny, but it means a lot to me. So I thought that was appropriate to use on this page. Just brings joy. So I'm thinking about using that over in here. Then I have a bunch of these dies that I've made, and these are actually from our Christmas collection, which is the paper I'm using on a lot of this. But this wasn't a Christmas collection, but I'm trying to make it not look like Christmas, and I think we'll get there. So let's go back to bringing everything in with my die cuts. This is on Mossy Meadow paper, and this is some vellum. And I'm gonna try again and get some movement there. So I think what I'm wanting to do is bring that in over there. And I'm gonna bring in some of these die cuts that we have made. And let's see, I also cut some out of vellum. But I was on the side of the vellum, if you can see here, but you don't need to waste that. You can just tuck that under somewhere, because these dies on this set do cut directly out of the patterns on some of the paper and the vellum. So what we can do is type that one, or push that one underneath here, and no one will be the wiser. So we've got 3 under there right now. And I think I like that. When I'm putting it down permanently, I might use some dimensionals on that. And for a title, this is going to take me a while to put this together, so I won't make you sit all through it. But what I've done, let me see if I can find the other D. I've gone ahead and cut this out of a set that I had from Close to My Heart, so I'm sorry it's no longer available, but it's the thin cut bundles and an outline that goes with them. And I'm not going to use the outline today, but let me show you. I'm trying to find, here's an L. I think we have an L out there, but I need the white. Bear with me, guys. So what this is going to say up here is it's going to say lives well lived. And I punched this again out of, or die cut this out of this particular paper, which is also on the back of their programs here. And I am going to do an offset. So it's going to end up looking something like that. It's It's hard to see. So I'm going to go off camera, spend some time putting that together, and when I have it down, I'll let you know. Right now I've come in and done a dry fit with all of my letters that I had offset. And what was really helpful is when I use this striped paper, as long as I knew my cut was straight, then I can just line up my letters following one of the lines in the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these down. I'm good with the spacing as they are. So important to dry fit this type of thing before you glue it down. I've got my letters glued down as well as I could. I think there's a little bit more spacing here than here, but I'm going with it. It's down. Now I'm going to work on this. And what I want to do here is I'm going to put some tear and tape back here. Where did I leave that? Okay. Again, I'd rather it be longer than shorter, but I think we're going to be just about right here. And I'm putting this down my center fold. So I'm going to leave the release tape on that for a minute, kind of let it marinate, kind of get that bend back in there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my dimensional foam tape and I'm going to run that over in here. Find my scissors, and I like my non-stick scissors from Close to My Heart for this. I'm going to get it as close to the edge as I can. I am going to remove this release tape and I'm going to put another layer on here. And just remember the other side of my page has that big pocket of cards and things. That's thick, so I think I can get away with this here. So about the same distance, I'm going to put some more foam tape doubled up. Hopefully I'm on screen there. Just kind of looking at my other camera to make sure. Maybe this one needs to be just slightly longer, just to measure up with the one over here on the top. Okay, so I just want to make sure, yeah, that's going to give me where it's not going to collapse on itself. And what I might do is add some tape to the sides, and I think I will so it doesn't then fall down. Let's see. Let's do some tear and tape over here. Sure getting the use out of my tear and tape today, aren't I? Okay. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to take my ribbon, and I know I want to tie a knot in the front. So let's find the center of my ribbon, and let's see, what I want to do is tie it down towards the bottom. So let's see, I want that much to do. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this release tape off. Let me find my little pointer tool. This whole thing is an experiment, guys, so let's pray this goes well. So I'm going to put that down there. I'm going to release this foam tape. And I'm just going to pull this tape out here, the score tape, and I'm going to fold it there just so I have a handle, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute, just so I have a little bit of wiggle room. And I'm going to pull this out just a little too. Okay, so let's turn this over. And I want to find a center here. So 6 inches, I'm looking up at here at my Versamat. And I kind of want some wiggle room in there. Whoops, let's go up a little bit higher. Okay, I think I've got that down. That one down. I think I want a little bit more bend to this. So I'm pulling out these little tails I had. Okay. I have my little tail over here, and I'm going to kind of get a bend to this page a little as best I can. Had me scared there for a minute. Okay, now what I want to do is an overhead knot down here. So I'm going to take this. Actually, I think I should probably put some tearing tape down there for my ribbon. So let's scoot that aside for a minute. And let me pull this a little bit taunter now. That's much better. So now I'm going to do an overhand knot. Okay. Now I'm going to find my fabric scissors, which are very sharp, and cut the edges. Okay, I'm liking that. Now we're ready to put all the fluffy stuff on. So, as I mentioned before, I have my 2 white circles, and I think I want them opposite of each other here. And then I kind of have what I've taken is these tags, which I mentioned before, and then I took another one and I cut it directly in half. And hopefully I can find the other piece here. It's here somewhere, I'll find it. And I'm gonna put a title up there, and I think this will give us a triangle of the white, because the white just kind of pops out from the page. Then over here on this side, I want to do a butterfly, and this has the vellum on it. And also with the butterflies, you get this little tiny piece. I've gone ahead and I've die cut some flowers again out of this brown plaid or textured fabric. And I've brought this in. Okay, now it's going to drive me crazy, but I've die cut the main flower out of white. Here it is. Well, here's the brush I used. The flowers aren't part of this set. I've come in with my old olive and with this very tiny brush, and I believe they're in my Amazon shop. I love these for doing small areas. I've come in with an old olive, tapped off a little, and then come in and really put some green in the front of that flower. And very simple, and I like it like that. So I want to come in and do one of the flowers over here, and then I'm going to bring in, here's the vellum again, that part of it's cut off because it was the side of the paper. So I'm going to put that down where no one really notices that. I'm going to use something to cover it up, such as one of those. And let's see if I can find something different. Let's bring in one of the pine needles, and maybe I'll make that the longer one. What I believe I'm going to do on the circle is I will bring it up on some dimensionals. So I'm pretty happy with the way that is. And now we're going to have our finishing touches to this, and then I'm going to show you a little trick that I like to use when I've got a lot of dimension on a page and I want to be really careful with it. A little trick I use, so stay tuned for that. I've got one little butterfly over here that I want to get ready to go. And I'm trying to put, because they're tinier, I'm not putting anything right in the center. I'm just going to use these 2 little dots close to the center, these dimensional dots. I'm going to put that aside for a minute. And I'm going to come in, and just so you know what I've done, I've used the same die that's here, and I've cut it in half, And I'm using that on the back here just to give it another dimension, or just to layer it up, just to make it prettier, I guess. So let's get some tape on this. Come over here as straight as I can. Let's set it down. Just let's scoot it over a little. I don't yet push it down until I'm happy with it. I think I'm good there. And when I was taping these together, I got some glue there. So to take your eye away from that, I'm gonna strategically put my little butterfly down there. So there's that. Now I've got my Wink of Stella, and let me see if I can grab a piece of dark paper. Maybe I'll just use one of these die cuts that I'm not going to use right now. And to use a Wink of Stella, make sure you shake it up. And it's just a glitter, like a clear glitter pen. It just adds a little oomph to your page. And I'm gonna put some down here. You kind of squeeze it on the sides. Oh, almost on my sting. Too much squeezing, Susan. So, obviously this is way, oh goodness gracious. Sorry, Mom and Dad. You can kind of see, hopefully, the glitter there. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna leave that mess in. Just so you know, we're all normal, we drop stuff, right? So what I'm gonna do, first of all, I'm gonna make sure that there's not a lot coming out. And, oh, I see what it's doing. It's kind of leaking at the top a little. Anyways, I'm gonna come in and brush this on my butterflies. And then I pulled out some of these dots. And what I wanted to show you all, let me grab what I like to use for this. What I have done is I have just a clear bin I put all of my dots into, or gems, whatever you would like to call them. When they come in, I always staple them on the clear to the back. So I know what is what when they come in, so I can tell you, okay, these are the faux glass dots, and I know what they are when I want to reorder, especially when I'm doing card classes for everyone, because I'll need to make sure I get the same thing for everyone. So I'm going to come in with some of these, and I think I'm going to put some up in here. And it looks like there are small and large sizes on here. Sometimes in some of our gems, there are small, medium, and large. This one doesn't appear to be like that. Okay. And then usually whatever I've done over here, I want to repeat something over on the left-hand page. So let me see what I can do over here. Maybe on this white portion. That looks good over here. I like that. I think that might do it. So let me show you one trick that I do. Let me grab a sheet protector. I'm over here behind my desk. These are the pages that I've just recently worked on, and I keep them in one book until I move them into their permanent books. So I know I'm off screen. I've got my desk is full of stuff here. So, and I keep my empty sheet protectors in the back just so they keep their shape okay. So I do have 2 pages here. So let's pull out 2 sheet protectors. And you're going to want 2 12 by 12 if you're working on 12 by 12. If you're working on 6 by 8, then you'll need that size. So, and I'll share all these pages with you once my book is full and they're ready to be put in their originals. So now I'm going to grab 2 12 by 12 pieces of paper. And the reason why I do this is just so I don't damage my pages where I have things that are dimensional. And this page is definitely dimensional. So I have 2 pages of white cardstock. And let's start with the page that's not so dimensional first. And I do put my little glue dots in the back that are holding down my pages to my Versamats. And they just roll off, as you can see there. So we'll take those off. Bear with me, I'm just rolling it off here and being careful so I don't rip my paper. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take one piece of paper and put it on the front, one piece of paper and put it on the back. And we know this is going to be a left-hand page, so I'm putting my holes to the right. And we're going to take these papers, slip them in. And it goes in so much nicer when you do this, okay? Now I'm very carefully gonna pull out the white piece and turn it over. And we're gonna pull out this piece. Okay, now let's do it on the right-hand side. So I know you've got some glare here. Let me see if I can eliminate some of that. No, it's gonna stay there for a little while. So this is what they look like once we get them in. So I will take some pictures and get them in after this video. And if you would, I would just like you to do all the things if I could ask for that. Comment, like, subscribe, and just keep in mind, subscribing doesn't cost you anything. It just gets you notification when the videos go up, and it looks good for me in the algorithm with YouTube. So that is much appreciated. And also, if you'd like to order any of these products, they'll be listed below. And I would also appreciate it if you could use my Hostess code, which I'll list down below. And it'll ask you for that right when you start ordering. So until next time, bye-bye, guys.
Side by side we sway there in all the colors.